Hey everyone, thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and we're just going to be looking at our current move. If you guys like this content, please subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on. And feel free to check out the Telegram and Discord channels in the description below to talk about some of these charts. Recently, so if you follow this channel for a while, you'll note that we've been talking about the 20-week moving average for a long time and using that 20-week moving average as a test for a bull market, and wanting to see our candles, more or less close above the 20-week moving average, to signify the start of a bull market. Now, in our last market cycle, again, we had several moves that were quite drastic. And despite the fact that we had losses as much as, 25%, despite we saw losses here that was 37%. Despite the fact that this happened, we still managed to stay above the 20-week moving average. Now, again, it's possible that we don't hold it this time. And back in 2019, I remember talking to some people about, I remember talking to some people about, will we hold this? Well, and I said, well, if we don't hold it, then we're kicking the can down the road another 6 to 12 months. And sure enough, here we are. It's March, so it's around 6 months later, and we're testing the 20-week moving average. So what I'm looking for, is for us to hold this, and if we can hold it, then it's going to bring some positive sentiment back to altcoins. I don't know if we're going to hold it or not. I can't tell you that. But if we don't hold it, then I would say there's a good chance that the Bitcoin dominance will rise. Because if we don't hold it, then I would expect us to potentially drop down to the 100-week moving average. Now, it's clear that that's not a guarantee. I don't have a magic crystal ball or anything like that. But it is what we did last time. And in fact, when we broke through the 20-week, we almost instantly fell to the 100-week moving average. But again, we talked about, okay, well, we didn't hold the 20-week back in September of 2019. Are we going to hold it in March of 2020, but at a lower price? So up here, it was a little harder to hold. The price was higher, and we were recently coming off of this pretty insane run of our own. Whereas recently, we had some consolidation and some accumulation down at the 7,000 level, and we just had a recent move, and now we're back down to the 20-week. And you can see, actually, if you zoom in, we came straight down to that 20-week moving average, and it's putting up a fight. And it usually does. It usually doesn't go down without a fight. It'll take a while for it to fall, but it still can fall, obviously. So we're watching this. We're going to be watching this move. So if we look to see what this move is, if we go, say, from the peak down to the bottom, it's about a 20% move. And if we go back over here, back to the last market cycle, we had a lot of these, and it was just part of the name of the game. A lot of people thought Bitcoin was going back down to the 200 or 300 level, during some of these moves where we had 20-25% losses, but it was not. It was pullbacks after a nice mini bubble. I like to call them. So if you look, you can see there's several of them. We ride the 20-week, have a little bubble, come back down to the 20-week. Ride the 20-week, a little bit of a bubble, come back down to the 20-week. Another bubble, back to the 20. Another bubble, back to the 20. Final bubble, back to the 20, and we broke it. Okay? And then during the bear market, it was kind of the reverse. You can kind of consider it, reverse it in your mind. Consider it, the resistance and us coming this way as the bubble. So we had kind of a bubble and then back to the 20, and then a bubble and then back to the 20, and then a bubble and then back to the 20. You rode the 20 for a while, a bubble, back to the 20, and then this time it got inverted, and then we went above the 20. So we had a bubble, back to the 20, but because we're in an accumulation phase still, we got inverted again, and now we are inverted again. So you can see kind of a little bubble, and then back to the 20-week moving average. In terms of the 20-week moving average, I do think it does play a key role in our macro level moves of the market and identifying what brings sentiment even back to say altcoins, especially coins like Ethereum. Getting above this level is really what set off a lot of really good gains in some other coins. And especially there were some really good ones that saw pretty remarkable returns recently, like Tezos and Link has seen some really good returns. Ethereum since December has seen really great returns. And typically it does involve Bitcoin getting above the 20-week moving average. So you can imagine that if we fall through it, a lot of that sentiment in some of these other coins might temporarily go away. And while Bitcoin is trying to kind of recoup and reevaluate where it stands. And if we do fall below the 20, and if we have a sharp candle down, then I think we're essentially kicking the can down the road again, and we'll test it several months from now. It might be at a lower level. Maybe we'll test it at the in the 7,000 region if that were to happen. But I should pull up here. Let's really quickly pull up the 200-week moving average, because a lot of people ask, like, well, where could we go? Now, clearly, the 200-week moving average does not mean we cannot break it, but it is interesting to say, well, that it has always held as support in the past. So, if in a very bearish scenario, if we were to fall down to the 200-week moving average currently, it is actually sitting at 54.28, and historically looking, that's where the smart money has ultimately poured into the market. When we hit the 200-week here, and in this region, and in this region, and back in 2019 it was, or 2018, and then 2019. It was in this region and this region. And when we hit the 20-week or the 200-week, we don't stay there long. So, I'm not saying that we're going to hit the 200-week, but if it were to happen, I think it'd be a good idea to be at least prepared for, that being a potentially really good buy based on historical patterns. Now, I've told a lot of my followers time and time again that I would not really worry that much in 2019 and 2020 over what the price is doing. I consider these accumulation years. If you're in it for the macro level picture and your goal is to just accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible in preparation for a 2022, 2023 peak or something like that, then almost in a sense you would actually hope for lower prices in the short term, so that you could look back on 2019 and 2020 and know that you got as much Bitcoin as you could have for the lowest price that you could have. So, I think if you think about it like that, it really changes it. Don't worry about the price during these accumulation years. Just, not that this is financial advice, but what I'm doing is I'm just dollar cost averaging as much as I can for as little as I can, using the risk metric to identify what risk regime we're in, and putting in that much money corresponding to that region for that week or that month, according to where the risk level is based on what recent prices have done. So if you want to follow along with that, then check out the Patreon channel, just patreon.com/intothecryptoverse. And we have several different tiers you can sign up for. We do have a private Telegram group for those people. And I think we have a lot of great discussions in there, and the group is growing. And we're really getting a good community to kind of stand with each other and be prepared for the next few years, as hopefully we enter a bull market sometime in the next year or two, and eventually see the dumb money pour in, the cycle repeat. And, I think we're going to be prepared for that. If you don't want to pay, that's fine. We do have the free public Telegram group, and I would encourage you to at least join that, so that you can follow along with the content that we have coming out. So, follow the 20-week. That's probably the best advice I can give you right now. If you see the candle, if you see the weekly candle, really closing below the 20-week, I would start to get potentially worried for the short term. Not that means I'm going to liquidate my entire portfolio, but just bear in mind that, again, if we don't hold the 20-week moving average, then historically Bitcoin dominance does increase. So if you're just holding Bitcoin, you're probably where you want to be. If you're holding 90% altcoins, that's just a risk you'll need to take into consideration. So watch the 20 week. You can see we are putting up a bit of a fight every time so far that we've come down to around 8,500. It has held. You can see that the current 20 week moving average is 84.57. So we are, the candle is above that. But just watch to see if we close below it, just because I don't make videos on Bitcoin every single day or every single hour to say whether we're going to hold that or not. Just watch that. You can watch it on any of your favorite exchanges, and just keep an eye on the 20 week. And if we can hold it as support, which is, I know a lot of people are hoping, then I would expect us to, and it might not be a thing that happens in 1 week. It might be something that we test for quite a while. For instance, back in 2016, we tested it. I should just take a date range. We tested it and pretty much held it as support for 4 months or so before bouncing back off of it. And this time over here was also very uncertain. We had just had a run. We came back down, and people were wondering, well, are we going to hold it? Are we going to continue our move up? And there was a lot of uncertainty during this time. And then we had another kind of a small euphoric phase where Bitcoin went up about 2x or so, and then we corrected right back down to the 20 week. So it's going to be a long, even if Bitcoin does hold the 20 week for the next couple years, on the chance that it does do that, and that now is the start of the bull market. Even if it does, it's going to be drawn out. It's going to be long. There's going to be a lot of people that think it's dropping. There's going to be people saying it's going to drop to 3,000. There's going to be people saying that it's dropping to 1,000. That's going to happen, and just expect to see it. Expect to see the people you follow on Twitter. When we see candles like this, expect a lot of them to say Bitcoin's going to 2,000. And when you see candles like this, expect those same people saying Bitcoin's going to 20,000 next month. But if you follow this channel, I think it's, you're looking more out in terms of the macro picture. We're not, I don't think we're going to 20,000 this month. I don't think it's going to happen next month. I also don't think we're going to 1,000 or 2,000 this month or next month. I really don't think we're ever going to revisit the sub 3,000 range. I mean, worst case scenario, even if we were to go to the 300 week moving average, even that is getting close to $4,000. So the 300 week is it's at 37.51. So I mean, and we've never gotten to that level. So just look at the overall market structure. Don't look at these moves. And if you zoom out, what is this move, guys? I mean, come on. Let's remember to do this key thing here. Remove the price. Look at the longer term trend. Let's go ahead and hide the 300. Here's the 20 week moving average. So just look at this trend. I mean, yes, it goes up. Yes, it goes down. But it mainly goes up. So that's the key thing to take away from this. And I think that'll wrap up the video. So if you guys like this content, again, subscribe to the channel. Check out Telegram and Discord. And I will. And also, if you want access to more content, check out the Patreon page in the description below. All right, guys. I will talk to you next time. Bye.